Well, fans, this is it. Time is officially winding down on the 2022 regular season this weekend. Only 4 games remain on the docket, with tonight's game and Saturday afternoon's senior day affair looming as the final 2 Saints home games of this year. Suddenly the finish line is very much in sight, and with each GNAC team now qualifying for the conference tournament, it's of paramount importance that the Saints keep battling all the way to the very end in order to give themselves a shot at the highest seed they can get heading into the postseason. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in tonight for the penultimate regular season home game of Saints men's basketball. Alongside our executive producer, Sydney Henderson, I'm Jeff Lucero. My broadcast partner, Austin Burns, is in the building, but he is needed elsewhere tonight, so I am flying solo on the call for this one yet again. Our game pits the Saints against Northwest Nazarene in the nightcap of a doubleheader with the Nighthawks tonight. The Nighthawks toppled the Saints in the women's game 66-58 earlier here this evening. We'd also like to welcome in any Nighthawks fans tuning into the broadcast from one time zone over tonight. Very nice to have you along for the broadcast as well. We'll talk matchup shortly, but first, well, as we mentioned, tonight's game and the regular season home finale Saturday evening suddenly take on a very different brand of significance for the Saints. As of a few days ago, the Saints were in the process of tumbling their way down a few spots in the postseason tournament seedings. They had lost 3 straight games after winning 10 of their previous 11. But on the road against Western Washington last Saturday night, the Saints let it be known early on in the contest that they were not to be trifled with, despite playing the game without 2 of their starters. The Saints took the lead for good just 2.5 minutes into the game, and they never looked back. The lead reached double digits with 12 minutes left in the first half, topping out at an even 20 with about 6.5 minutes left in the first frame. By the end of the half, the Saints were fully cruising, taking a 50-35 lead into the break. Now, in the second half, more of the same. The Vikings just could never get it going at all, as the Saints' lead swelled to as many as 25, coasting all the way home to a much-needed runaway 86-68 victory. The Saints, well, they were locked in right from the jump. For the game, they went 13 for 25 beyond the arc, a sparkling 52% from deep. Kyle Greeley led all scorers with 24. Alex Schumacher banged home another 17. And Marky Adams and Brett Reed each contributed a double-double, combining for 23 points and 24 rebounds between them. It's big for a couple of reasons. First, well, it's just plain good for morale. The Saints were listing. As was mentioned, they'd lost their 3 previous games, whereas they once had a firm hold on first place atop the GNAC standings. They were suddenly beginning to slip perilously close to the middle of the pack in the GNAC's new points rating system that determines seeding for the postseason tournament. But they got right at the absolute right time. They locked in when they had to have it. And most importantly, they did it with one hand tied behind their backs. They played this game without 2 of their most important and most dynamic players, Jaden Nielsen-Skinner and Tyke Thompson. Now, in Skinny and Thompson's absence, it was Kyle Greeley who burned the Vikings on Saturday of his team-high 24 points. 15 of those came in the second half. This dude has been an absolutely diabolical lately. He's averaging a cool 18 points per game over his last 6 games. But check this out. He's averaging a brain-scrambling 66% from the floor across those 6 games. Now, that's a number usually reserved for guys like Marky Adams and Brett Reed, who handle most of their business around the basket, right? Not for guys who do most of their damage from mid-range and long distance. 66% from the floor across his last 6 games for a dude who eats his lunch living in that 15 to 20-foot shot range. It has to be a comfort to Saints head coach Aaron Landon that he has someone that he can turn to, especially when his squad is shorthanded like Kyle Greeley. Fans, we are gearing up for an utterly epic and wild finish of the regular season in the GNAC, to be sure. We'll take a break as time winds closer to the opening tip of this enormously crucial, hugely important Saints men's basketball GNAC matchup with Northwest Nazarene. When we come back from the break, we will preview what's in store from the Nighthawks tonight. Keep it locked, folks. You're dialed in to the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show on the Saints Digital Network. And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion for the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show. And it is time for a quick look at tonight's opponent for the Saints. The Nighthawks entered tonight's game with an overall record of 8-7 with a league record of 6-4. Now, despite having 7 fewer wins and the same number of losses as St. Martin's, they actually sit one spot above the Saints in the point rating system that the GNAC is using to determine postseason conference tournament seeding. And while every GNAC team has been affected by COVID-related postponements and cancellations, perhaps no team has been hit harder than these guys who have had 5 games either canceled or postponed by health-related issues. The Nighthawks, well, they're not an especially deep team at all. They really only go about 7 deep now that one player in particular has returned to the lineup for Paul Rush, now in his 5th year as the Nighthawks head coach. The aforementioned player who has returned for the Nighthawks has wasted little time establishing himself as the focus of their offensive attack. Of course, we're talking about James Nelson. The 6'6" redshirt sophomore has exploded onto the scene. Despite missing about half of the Nighthawks' limited number of games so far, he's rapidly become a breakout GNAC superstar. He leads the team in scoring with 17.6 points per game and is second on the team in rebounds with 8.6 boards per game. Another redshirt sophomore the Saints will have to account for throughout the night, George Reedy. He averages just better than 14 points per game, and they'll also have their hands quite full down low with yet another redshirt sophomore, 6'9" Gabe Murphy. He has 7 double-doubles so far. Now, that number is all the more impressive when, again, you consider that the Nighthawks have played just 14 games so far this year. Overall, they're averaging around 74 points per game while giving up about 73. They're shooting 41% from the floor, just under 32% from 3, and 73% at the foul line. One thing that this team lacks, however, and this is a big change from years past, when the Nighthawks were one of the most dominant programs in this league, is a true threat from outside. No one on this team is knocking down shots from distance this season on any kind of a consistent basis. Players like Zeke Allen and Jaden Bezant and Obi Megway used to light up the scoreboard from deep. Well, those players are gone, along, of course, with Spider Adetunje and Adonis Arms, who is now making a name for himself at Texas Tech University. We'll talk about that later on in the broadcast. This year's edition of Northwest Nazarene men's basketball, anyway, is much more efficient down low, in close, around the basket than they've been in years past when they did rely much more on their perimeter players. So one thing that really has not changed, this Northwest Nazarene team is still really, really good. They come in tonight with their chests a little bit puffed out, having won their last three. This is a confident team with some swagger behind them that has a reputation for being perhaps the toughest, most physical team in the league. They held the Saints' high-powered offense largely in check at their place just 9 days ago on their way to a 71-65 win over in Nampa. These teams don't match up all that well with one another, and it will be fascinating to see which of these teams is able to force the other to play at a pace and style that they aren't necessarily all that accustomed to. We'll take one quick final break before tip-off. This has been the St. Martin's Men's Basketball pregame show on the Saints Digital Network. And welcome back inside DeMarcus Pavilion. This hotly anticipated game between Northwest Nazarene and St. Martin's is coming up here in just a couple of moments. You've got the starting lineups on your screen. It will be a very different look for the Saints because, of course, as we mentioned in the pregame show, they played a few nights ago up at Western Washington without the services of two of their best, most productive players at both ends of the floor. Of course, we're talking about Jaden Nielsen-Skinner and Tyke Thompson. The Saints will be without both of those players yet again here tonight, although there's, well, let's call it a 2% chance that we'll see Jaden Nielsen-Skinner on the floor. Tyke Thompson, however, definitely will not play tonight. Saw him walking around earlier with a boot on his left foot. Head coach Aaron Landon telling me that he's hoping to have him back in time for the GNAC postseason tournament. Likely won't still be able to get cleared in time for those last two games against Alaska, but they are optimistic that if Nielsen-Skinner cannot go tonight, that he will in fact be cleared in time for their scheduled game with Central Washington on Senior Day coming up a couple of days from now. But that Nielsen-Skinner hopefully will certainly be back on the floor, if nothing else, in time for the Alaska games. They play at Anchorage and Fairbanks next weekend to close out the regular season. These, of course, the last two home games of the regular season here tonight and Saturday afternoon. So the Saints going with a big look. Both Marky Adams and Brett Reed in the starting lineup alongside Kyle Greeley, Alex Schumacher, and Christian Hafner. For the Nighthawks, Kobe Terashima, True Allen, George Reedy, and James Nelson in the backcourt. And Gabe Murphy up front. He will jump things up opposite Marky Adams as the lights finally come back up here inside the pavilion. We're ready to go. The Saints in their home whites, Northwest Nazarene in the road reds. These two schools, of course, with the same color schemes. It is the Saints in the traditional home whites. The ball is tipped, and we're underway. Saints moving it right to left on your radio dial as Marky Adams with authority throws the ball into backcourt and into the hands of Alex Schumacher. Northwest Nazarene coming out in a man-to-man defense. Saints with their first look. Double team collapses on Marky Adams, able to kick it back outside. Hey, Christian Hafner will raise for a three, leaves it a little too strong. Brett Reed muscles down the rebound and muscles right back it up and in with the putback. And our first points are on the board, courtesy of Brett Reed, the Chaminade transfer. This one of the couple of seniors on this team that we hope to celebrate Saturday evening in time for their game scheduled against Central Washington. Into the high post, it's Reedy. They kick to the corner. True Allen will try a three. That one bounds off the back heel, and Brett Reed tracks it down beneath the Nighthawks basket. So an empty trip for the Nighthawks at their end of the floor after the Saints were able to cash on their opening possession. Adams steps between defenders and works his way to the rack and lays it in. So back-to-back post buckets for the Saints. First an offensive putback for Brett Reed, and now it's Marky Adams just going to work beneath the basket. Reedy can't find any space in front of Marky Adams. Gets it back and will reload for three. Look good from here. Offensive rebound. Wrestled away by True Allen. Earns the Nighthawks the extra possession. They reverse it back for Reedy. Crosses right to left. Gets into the paint. Spins around Adams. Gets to the glass. Lays it high off the backboard. Shot won't go, and Reed with his second rebound of the contest. Now Schumacher accelerates toward the rack. He goes glass and lays it in. The Saints, with the first 6 points of the game, make it 8. Back-to-back buckets for Schumacher. He hits the layup in mid-transition, then rips away the inbound and scores 2 buckets in 2 seconds. How about that? 8-point lead for the Saints. Remember the women, if you watched that game, scored the first 15 points of their game against Northwest Nazarene. Well, how about the Saints? They're like, we see you ladies. We're going to try our hand at that as well. That shot misses everything. The Saints in transition. Hafner on the drive. Well, he's got a pretty sizable mismatch there. Guarded by Gabe Murphy. Stays on Hafner for the time being anyway. They work it inside for Adams. Double team collapses on him. Goes glass, lays it. Oh, not quite in. Reedy there to rip down the rebound. That's the first miss of the game for St. Martin's. True Allen on the drive. Under the basket, loses control, and it rolls out of bounds. One heck of a start for St. Martin's. And we'll have our first substitution onto the floor. Christian Rose steps in for Northwest Nazarene. I mentioned at the end of the women's game that we were going to have Austin Burns back on the broadcast for this one. He was in the building but could not join us for the broadcast for the women's game. And unfortunately, he won't be joining me here tonight. So once again, I'm flying solo up here, folks. Bear with me. Adams leaves that one short. Saints get back on D. Allen from the corner. Bluffs to the three. Instead, dumps it down low for Murphy. Gets it back. Murphy does not repost. Terashima hands it off to Reedy. Now Rose cut off by Reed. 10 on the shot clock. They leave it for Reedy inside. Spins to his left. Gets stuck under the basket. Nearly travels. Kicks to the corner. Rose for three. That one bounds out. And Greeley taps it into the hands of Reed. No Jaden Nielsen-Skinner for the Saints tonight. Haven't needed him so far. 8-0 start to this game for St. Martin's. Hafner wheels back outside. Reed up top. Entry pass for Adams. Kick to the corner for Hafner. 10 on the shot clock. Back to Schumacher near the timeline. Reed comes out to set the screen. Schumacher shakes Green. Make it Allen beneath the basket. Tries to force a pass inside for Reed. It's broken up. Now here's Murphy on the leak out. And Northwest Nazarene finally on the board. Better than 4 minutes into this game. They had missed their first 4 shots, but connect on their 5th, and it's 8-2. Schumacher works his way around the Reed screen, sets himself and squares from the elbow extended. 17-foot floater will go. 10-2 St. Martin's. Terashima cut off along the baseline by Reed. Recycles up top to Allen. Rose looks into the high post for Reedy. Saints going to be in this 2-3 zone pretty much all night long. They don't want to have to chase guys like Reedy and Nelson all over the floor. Another turnover for Northwest Nazarene beneath their own basket. Adams gathers the loose change. Schumacher will leisurely walk it up the floor for the Saints. Kicks it back for Marky Adams. No threat to shoot from there. Plenty of space. Now it's Reed with good position on Rose. Gets to the rack, lays it in. 12-2 Saints, their first double-digit lead of the game. Now in transition, it's Reedy taking the feed midair, lays it in. Good recovery off the St. Martin's make. True Allen sets up Reedy. Now Greeley gets a touch. We haven't seen him much of the offensive end. Remember, Kyle Greeley comes into this game absolutely unconscious. I mean, absolutely on fire at the offensive end for the Saints. Schumacher. Nowhere to go, so he dumps it back for Hafner. Gets bumped by Murphy, no call. Fires up a shot, no good. Long offensive rebound. Karem's out for Adams. No look pass to the baseline for Kyle Greeley. He raises from 18, and Kyle Greeley picking up right where he's left off. Again, he comes in tonight shooting 66% over his last 6 games. That number is absolutely stunning when you consider that he shoots most of his shots from the mid-range and from beyond the arc. Does get to the rack. Has the ability to create off the dribble and get to the rim. But for the most part, a mid-range jump shot artist. And threat from long distance, Kyle Greeley, 66% across his last 6 games. Reed takes the pass, gets to the rack, his shot won't fall, but it'll head to the line once we return. That was a fast-paced first 6.5 minutes of action here inside Marcus Pavilion. It's the Saints with a 7-point lead, and Brett Reed heading to the line once we return. So 14-7 our score. It'll be Brett Reed at the line for the Saints here in just a moment. If you're just now joining us, the Saints playing tonight without 2 of their starters, both Tyke Thompson and Jaden Nielsen-Skinner, unavailable tonight, still nursing injuries. Thompson likely unable to play until at least the GNAC postseason tournament. Head coach Aaron Landon certainly hoping to get Jaden Nielsen-Skinner back into the lineup in time for Saturday's Senior Day matchup with Central Washington. Reed at the free throw line. Rolls in the first. Can the Saints get it done without Nielsen-Skinner and Thompson, just like they did against Western Washington last Saturday evening? They did it 5 days ago, barely breaking a sweat. I have a strong suspicion it'll be much tougher setting against Northwest Nazarene here tonight without those 2 dudes available. But look at Brett Reed, fired up as he gets to the bench. And the Saints will send Goy Wang and Champ Spencer to the floor for the first time this evening. They'll also pick up pressure in backcourt for the first time as well. 16-7 our score. Brett Reed is fired up, and so are his teammates. Now James Nelson getting loose. That's his first look and his first bucket as well. Leading scorer for this team now. He's only played half of the team's games. Still, though, this dude can really, really play. He's going to be special for this squad for the next couple of seasons. He's got 2 full years of eligibility left, as does this guy handling right here, Kyle Greeley, one of the 2 Portland State transfers on this team. With the shot clock winding down, he works his way toward the rack, angles in, but his shot deflected, knocked away by Christian Rose, and here's Reedy on the run out. Defers back to Terashima. Now it's Julian Agosto on the floor. On the drive. Look at James Nelson. He's fired up. He got benched early in this game. Paul Rush took him out early, replaced him on the floor with Christian Rose. Now that he's back out there, he's playing with his hair on fire. Spencer. His shot blocked from behind. Nelson reaching in and taking it away. Northwest Nazarene suddenly starting to feel themselves. Now Nelson will try for three. Too strong. Rose after it, batted around, winds up with Reedy here on the near side. Augusto back to Terashima, backs down Greeley, spins to his left, goes glass and lays it in with the left hand. Wow, 6 straight points out of the timeout for Northwest Nazarene, and the Saints reeling a little bit after they raced out to the huge lead to start the game. It's now a 3-point contest. Northwest Nazarene right back in the thick of it. Champ Spencer with it. Crosses over, loses control. It's taken away by Terashima. 3-on-1 opportunity. Ahead to Reedy. It's poked away by Hafner. Rolls out of bounds. Last touch by Hafner. And just like that, we're already back to another media timeout. It took so long to get to the first one, but it didn't take long at all to get to media timeout number 2. 16-13 to our score with 11:35 to go in the first half. So 16-13 our score. Marky Adams and Brett Reed both back on the floor. A big lineup out there for the Saints. Goy Wang, Champ Spencer, Brett Reed, and Marky Adams all occupying space on the floor for the Saints as they settle back into this 2-3 zone with Wang and Schumacher up top. They look inside for Reedy. Pass mishandled. Allen recovers. Back outside for Augusto. He's cut off. 12 on the shot clock for the Nighthawks. Augusto into the high post for Reedy. Starts his drive. Tries to go to work on Adams. Sealed off. Falls away from 10 feet. No good. Rebound. Brett Reed. Alex Schumacher going to be called upon to run the point for the Saints. He's a more natural two-guard, but he can run the point for this team. And getting a little handsy. It's Julian Augusto.
For the Nighthawks, number 2 is Jaden Fox. And for the Saints, number 10 is Marcus Langford.
That is his first foul and the second of the contest on Northwest Nazarene. Saints have yet to have a whistle blown against them. Lang shakes the defender, steps back, now drives. Pulls up from 10 feet, banks a shot hard off the glass, no good. Offensive rebound, Marky Adams just turns right around, finally puts it up. No good. Rebound, Christian Rose, and Brett Reed commits the foul beneath the Saints bucket. So as soon as I say it, the Saints are whistled for a foul. And Marcus Linker also fresh on the floor for St. Martin's. As he will take the spot of Champ Spencer, who retreats to the bench for the time being. James Nelson into the high post. Now Reed cuts along the basket. Linker lost him for a moment. Those two tie up beneath the Nazarene basket. And the alternating possession keeps it with the Nighthawks. Saints fortunate there. Rose had lost Marcus Linker. Slicing in along the baseline. Allen to enter with 20 on the shot clock. Laces a pass up and over the top into the hands of Julian Augusto. Jalen Fox on the floor for the first time tonight. Number 2 for the squad in red. He handles here on the near side. Wang kicks the ball. Entered and intended for True Allen. Wang gets a foot to it, kicks it into the second row. Right here in front of us. Flashing to the high post is James Nelson. Just lurking around the free throw line, sitting in the paint for a long, long time. Now the three on its way. That long cast won't fall. And Linker, the strong defensive rebound for the Saints. A one and done for Northwest Nazarene, even though it was a long possession for them. Schumacher gets into the paint. Drops it off for Adams. Wild shot won't fall. He's after it. Taps it into the hands of Schumacher. Kicks back outside. Now Linker will try for three. High arcing shot, no good. Last touched by Brett Reed. Initially ruled off the hands of Julian Agosto in front of the Northwest Nazarene bench. The referee thinks twice and points back in the other direction. So possession, Northwest Nazarene. Under 10 to play here. We're at the halfway point of the first half. Been a good one so far. Saints jumped out to a large lead. They led by as many as 10 a couple of times. They scored the first 8 points of this game. Northwest Nazarene came roaring back after the first media timeout. They're actually on a 6-0 run still. The Saints have gone cold over the last several minutes of this game. That shot won't go. And another rebound for Reed. Now he drives, spins into the paint, kicks back outside. Linker thinks about a three. Now kicks to Schumacher, who will fire for three. Won't go, but he's fouled, and he'll head to the line for not one, not two, but 3 foul shots. Cardinals in there, never foul the jump shooter. It's whistled on Kobe Terashima, his first, team's third. So Schumacher comes in tonight as the Saints' second overall leading scorer. He's averaging just under 14 points per game. He has been very steady at the foul line for the Saints. He's averaging 85% on the season. His first 2 go. He steadies and readies for shot number 3. It's good. All 3 foul shots banged home by Schumacher. And the Saints now back to a 6-point advantage, 19-13. And an official's timeout. A bit of moisture on the deck. James Nelson does it all for this Northwest Nazarene team. Takes the towel from the bench and big shots, he blocks shots, he mops the floor. Nelson, a very talented player for this team. Played the first 2 games of the season for Northwest Nazarene, but then missed the team's next 6 games. Has come back to play in the final 5. And he's played very, very well. He's a dynamic scorer. Speaking of, here's George Reedy. He's a dynamic scorer as well. Can't lay that one home. Tough shot, would not fall. And here comes Schumacher the other way. Head up, looking for a teammate. Not a lot of motion out of the Saints offense thus far. Here's Wang. Guarded closely by Terashima in front of the Nighthawks bench. Now Reed starts his move. Gets around Nelson. But it's whistled for the double dribble. Like I might have gotten poked away. I did not have the right angle. The referee did. And the turnover gives it right back to Northwest Nazarene. Here's Reedy. Reverses back the other direction after a couple of lefty dribbles. Double team collapses on him. Kicks it back outside for Terashima. Thinks about the long 3. They reel it up the other way. Now Nelson will fire for a long 3 and bury it. James Nelson got pulled out of the game early. Once he got back on the floor, he has been all business. Give him 7 points now in the game. And he draws the Nighthawks back within 3. Not sure what that stoppage was about entirely. I just wasn't watching. I guess the ball was knocked out of bounds because there's 27 showing on the shot clock. Ball was inbounded from in front of Aaron Landon and the Saints bench. Now Greeley back on the floor. Steps inside the 3-point line. They work it down low for Reed. Kicks back outside. Now back to Greeley. No look pass for Reed, but he's shut off. But fakes to his left and goes right back around Murphy down low. Then races the floor and picks off the pass intended for Gabe Murphy. How about Brett Reed? That move fooled me completely down low. Then he comes back, runs the floor, gets the steal, holds the ball here. Kicks to the corner. Wang for three. That one too strong. Schumacher after it. And he's the last to touch it, and that will bring us to another stoppage in play. So the Saints have yet to trail in this game, and they still have a 5-point lead with about 7.5 to play here in the first half. Well, the story thus far for the Saints, it's Alex Schumacher and Brett Reed. They have 17 combined points of the Saints, 21 overall. The Saints with a 5-point lead. They have led from the opening tip. Remember, they scored the first 8 points of this contest. Northwest Nazarene has worked their way right back into it, as we figured they would. This is a really good team. Remember, these two teams, numbers 2 and 3 right now in the GNAC point rating system. This is a huge game for both of these teams. Bigger for Northwest Nazarene because it's on the road against a plus 500 team. The point system is really convoluted. It's tough to figure out, folks. It's on the GNAC website if you want to go out and take a look at it. They've got a spreadsheet that really does lay everything out, but it's just a little bit too difficult to explain in the flow and context of a basketball broadcast. Now here's Gabe Murphy trying for three from the top of the key. It bangs off the back iron, and back comes Schumacher the other way. Hands it off for Greeley. Hesitation move. They run a little bit of a 3-out, 2-in set. Now Adams down on the low post. Schumacher comes to get it. Kicks outside. Greeley will try for three. Got it! Kyle Greeley! This dude, 2 for 3 now, right at his average. 67% over the last 6 games. Oh my goodness, Kyle Greeley cannot miss. Reedy rolls around the screen, nowhere to go. Cut off by Greeley. Now True Allen dips his knees, tries it at 3. Greeley hauls down the rebound. Schumacher thinks about driving, now steps back outside. It's stuck in midair, but able to get it into the hands of Marky Adams. Hafner, pass in midair, back to Kyle Greeley. Fakes left, comes back right now, comes back to his left. Steps back from 13 feet. That one off the back heel. Goy Wang tracks it down. Kicks back outside. Now Hafner resets, reloads, fires for 3. Got it! Christian Hafner! Back-to-back threes for the Saints, and they're back to a double-digit lead, their largest of the game, in fact, at 27-16 as we near the 5.5-minute mark of the first half. Saints just had the Nighthawks rocking back on their heels throughout that possession, kept them off balance, and finally pay it off with a Hafner 3. They nearly turned it over. Reedy able to corral it, gets to the rack, shot won't go. But out comes Terashima from the pack. 1 on the shot clock. Can he get the shot off? It looked like he did not get it off. And Reedy recovers beneath the basket, but commits the offensive foul. Wave off the shot. He went right through the chest of Kyle Greeley, threw him asunder. Did not look at all like Terashima got that shot off before the shot clock expired. Things could have gotten sideways there for a moment after Reedy came away with the offensive rebound, but he commits the offensive foul, his second of the first half, and that'll actually send him to the pine for a while as he sits now with 2 fouls. Wang crosses the timeline, guarded closely by Fox. Schumacher here on the near side. Starts his drive, gets all the way into the paint. He's dispossessed, but he's fouled and will head to the line. Schumacher already threatening double figures. Head coach Aaron Landon telling me that he expected Schumacher to have a big night tonight. And thus far, Schu has delivered. He's got a team-high 9 points. A couple of assists as well. And on the strength of that free throw, he is the first player for either team into double figures. Big deep breath from Schumacher. Lines it up, knocks it down. Schumacher a perfect 5 of 5 at the foul line. Give him 11 points, and the Saints now lead it by a baker's dozen. Their largest lead of the game at 13, under 5 to play here in the first half. Jalen Fox handles. They work it around on the perimeter for Nelson. Now Terashima comes to get it. Murphy sets the screen. Terashima accelerates to the rim and lays it in. Bangs that shot home from just outside the right side of the lane. And the bucket for the Nighthawks brings them back within 11. Now Reed on the drive. Beautiful move, but drugged the pivot foot just enough. The referee won't have it, but he got Murphy completely faked out of his shorts on that. Oh my goodness, Brett Reed is so special around the basket. Such great footwork. That turnover notwithstanding, of course. Man, he's so fun to watch. I wish we could have had him here for more than just this 1 year. So thankful to have Brett Reed in a Saints uniform, though, for this season. And he's had a very special season so far. Terashima shakes Christian Hafner. And now, do we have a flop warning whistled against the Saints? Yes, we do. Christian Hafner called for the flop warning. That's what the stoppage of play is about. And with under 4 to play, it brings us to immediate timeout. So 29-18. The Saints continue to lead here on the St. Martin's Digital Network. (29-18) our score, 3:59 left here in the first half. Saints have looked very, very good. They got off to a scorching hot start. They scored the game's first 8 points before Northwest Nazarene was into the scoring ledger. Nighthawks have played well, but not well enough so far. Saints lead it by 11. Nighthawks basketball as we return to action. Jalen Fox here on the near side. Christian Rose handles for the moment. Now it's Terashima. Surveys, now he accelerates again. Tried that move a moment ago and it worked. Not this time. Kyle Greeley wrestles down the rebound. On a very similar drive, Terashima cashed from that spot a couple of moments ago. Ahead of that last time out. Not so much that time. Now Greeley on the drive. Sealed off. Tries to get his man in the air. Nothing doing. Now Reed finds the cutter, Schumacher. But his pass just a little bit too long out in front of Schumacher. Schumacher chases it up into the stands. Good thing he did not hurt himself on that play. Northwest Nazarene the other way. Fox steps around the screen, fires the lefty three, and it's good. Jalen Fox was a very accomplished three-point shooter. His numbers way down from where they had been his last couple of seasons for this program. Still a very good shooter. It's just that it just has not quite been there for him the way that it has been in years past. But he shows it off there. Now Wang on the drive. Down the right side of the paint. Shot blocked from behind by Nelson. A little bit of contact with Murphy. No call. Now Nelson the transition three. Leaves it short. Brett Reed another rebound for the Saints. That's his 7th already through 17 and a half minutes of action. Tough pass, but Reed handles it. Hafner whips a pass back across into the hands of Greeley. Now Greeley on the drive, bounces a pass inside for Reed, nearly travels, recovers, kicks back to the corner. Now Greeley kicks back outside. Hafner, a wide open three, got it! Christian after his second three of the game, and the Saints back to a double-digit lead at 32-21 with 2:10 to play in the first. You cannot leave Christian Hafner alone, nor can you leave Gabe Murphy alone beneath the basket. That's just way too easy for the Nighthawks. And he brings them back within 9. Gabe Murphy, again, 7 double-doubles in 14 games for Northwest Nazarene. That is efficiency. That's the kind of thing you want out of a post player. Paul Rush has to be so happy with the job that Gabe Murphy has done for this Nighthawks team so far this season. That pass knocked out of bounds. We'll get Marky Adams back onto the floor for the Saints. As well, True Allen comes back on for the Nighthawks alongside Timothy Tenclay. Pardon me. Reed, no-look pass, sets up Greeley. 3 on its way, a little bit too strong. Look at Marky Adams Sky for the rebound. Has it taken away, however, by James Nelson. Takes it right back to Shoe. Finds Adams, raises for the two-handed flush. Punches it home. Oh, Alex Schumacher steps into the passing lane. No-look pass ahead to Marky Adams. And Adams flushes it with authority. I am a ridiculous human being, but when the Saints do ridiculous things on the floor, I've got no choice but to behave as such accordingly. Allen crosses over, kicks it back outside. Nelson recovers. Jalen Fox the long three. No good. Reed, another rebound. 8 already in the game. Hafner the other way as we hit the 1-minute mark of the first half. Now Reed on the drive, angles in, kicks back for Greeley. A 3 on the way is good! 14-point lead for the Saints, under a minute to play in the first half. Bounce it inside for Murphy. Gets to the rack, lays it in, and he'll head to the line. Northwest Nazarene answers back. Set up perfectly inside by True Allen. And Marcus Pavilions falls silent momentarily. Pretty good crowd has worked its way inside Marcus Pavilion. Of course, the camera faces the reserve section of seats. Numbers are a little lower down there than they are over here on the GA side of things. GA section pretty full over here. So the Saints, if they hustle, can go 2 for 1, but they've got to go now. Schumacher comes to get it. Races across the timeline. They kick to the corner. Hafner raises for 3. Too strong. Adams after. It's last touch by Northwest Nazarene, so keep it with the Saints. 20 seconds on the shot clock. And 34 seconds overall on the game clock here in the first half. Hafner inbounds, finds Brett Reed out near the elbow. Hafner circles back, comes to get it. No-look pass over his shoulder for Reed. They kick to the corner now. Shoe for 3. Got it! Alex Schumacher! Back to a 14-point lead for the Saints. 20 seconds on the game clock. Shot clock off for the rest of the half. Reedy in the high post. Skips to his left. Works around Adams. Nothing doing. Hands off to Rose. Gets to the back and he's fouled by Kyle Greeley. He'll head to the line. Saints, however, will have a final possession. Of course, depending on how things play out here on these free throws. Rose on the business end of some contact, but he hit the basket. He comes back. Looks like he's favoring a left hip there. He's got knocked around. See if that affects his foul shooting at all. Not at all on that first one. That was right and good. How about some of the action we've had in the closing moments of the first half of this game? Alex Schumacher playing so well for the Saints in this game. 14 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 rebounds. And he's played all 20 minutes for St. Martin's. Paul Rush will call a quick timeout. So we'll reset things for you. 12-point lead for the Saints. They've got 5.8 seconds to mess around with here in the closing moments of the first half. Both Goy Wang and Champ Spencer will check in for St. Martin's for this final possession. We'll see who they opt out of the lineup. Likely Brett Reed and perhaps Marky Adams as well. Want to get some shooters on the floor, some guys who can get a shot off from basically any spot on the floor. We'll see who comes out of that huddle here for the Saints. Christian Rose, despite favoring that left leg a moment ago at the free throw line, remains on the floor for Northwest Nazarene for these final 5 8/10. So Greeley, Wang, Spencer. Oh, Adams is on the floor. Actually, no, he's not. He's on. Saints, we're going to have 6 on the floor there for a second. So Spencer, Hafner, Greeley, Schumacher, and Wang to trigger the inbound. Northwest Nazarene picks up pressure. They've got fouls to give if they want. Nearly forced a turnover in backcourt. Now Wang will step from the volleyball tee, fire away, and knock it down! Goy Wang from a legitimate 40 feet. Bangs home the 3 as time expires in the half, and the Saints with their largest lead of the game at the halftime break. That possession looked for all the world like it was completely falling apart. Schumacher able to recover, gets it over to Goy Wang, steps into a 40-foot bomb, drains it, and that brings us to halftime. Oh my goodness. Fireworks to end the first half here inside Marcus Pavilion. Folks, we'll step away on the broadcast for an extended break, but please rejoin us in about 12 minutes time for a look back at first half stats and a look ahead to second half action between the Saints and the Nighthawks on the St. Martin's Digital Network. And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion, getting ready for second half action between St. Martin's and Northwest Nazarene. What a first half we had. Tons of high-flying action in those final 3 minutes of the first half. If you did not catch the end of the first half, you've got to do yourself a favor and rewind your YouTube video. Go back and watch what happened. Several highlight reel possessions for the Saints. None more preposterous than the last second fling from just about 40 feet out as time expired at halftime. Goy Wang connecting from the volleyball square on the floor. Not from the Twin Star logo, but much closer to the actual Saints logo on the floor. That three pushed the Saints lead to the largest it's been all night. 43-28 is where we stand. The Saints shot an even 50% from the floor in the first half. 15 of 30 and even 50% from three as well. 6 of 12, a perfect 7 of 7 at the line. They out-rebound Northwest Nazarene in the first half, 19-14 plus 5 on the glass. 10 assists on those 15 made baskets. How about the performance we've gotten out of Alex Schumacher here in the first 20 minutes of this contest? 14 points on a perfect 4 of 4 from the floor, a perfect 1 of 1 from beyond the three-point line, and a perfect 5 of 5 at the line. He's also got a team-high 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, just 1 turnover, and he has not come off the floor at all. He played all 20 minutes in the first half for the Saints. He is the reason, well, not the only reason, but he's the biggest reason anyway that the Saints have brought themselves all the way out to this 15-point lead for the Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks in the first half. They shoot 38% from the floor, so right about their season average. I guess they're 41% of the season. Math, pish-posh. 3 for 12 from 3, that's 25%, and a perfect 3 for 3 at the line. Nazarene turned it over 7 times in the first half, 6 turnovers in the first 20 minutes for St. Martin's. Leading the way for Northwest Nazarene, 3 different guys have 7 apiece: Kobe Terashima, James Nelson, and Gabe Murphy. Well, it was electrifying in those final moments of the first half. We'll see what's in store as we get set for second half action. It will be Saints basketball as we resume. Saints moving it now left to right on your old-time radio dial. Greeley handles here out in front of us, guarded closely. That pass nearly too high. Schumacher able to bring it down. Reed leaves it for Adams. Double clutch midair. Reed and Adams both after it. Greeley fouled on the 3, and he'll head to the line for a chance at a 4-point play. How about that? Shot clock was about to expire. Kyle Greeley crushes a 3 from the Twin Star logo. Contacted in midair. And a shot at a 4-point play upcoming. We had fireworks to end the first half. More of the same as we commence with the second. Greeley dips at the knees, fires from the line. A 4-point play for Greeley, and the Saints opening it up. 19-point lead, just 30 seconds gone by. The Nighthawks nearly turned it over on their opening possession of the second frame. Now Reedy comes to get it. No look pass inside, sets up Nelson. His shot looks strong, and it is. Back tap, and Schumacher tracks it down. He races out, drops it off for Adams. Kicks back outside for Hafner. He'll try for 3. Why not? Why not? Christian Hafner for 3. 7 points in 53 seconds for the Saints to open things up here in the second half. 50-28 our score. And just like that, Paul Rush already needs a timeout. Oh my goodness, blink and you'll miss it. 50-28, 5 points in 50, make it 6 points, 7 points. I can't count. 7 points for the Saints in the first 53 seconds of the second half. The Saints are playing out of their minds right now. We will take a timeout before I pass out. Saints with a 22-point lead. By the way, that foul that set up Kyle Greeley for that 4-point play, that was whistled against George Reedy. That's his third. And he is currently back on the bench for Northwest Nazarene, who now trail by 22. 7 points in the first 53 seconds for St. Martin's here to open the second half. My goodness gracious. Now Agosto on the drive. Kicks back for Fox. Mishandled pass, and Terashima fumbles it out of bounds in front of his own bench. Northwest Nazarene all kinds of out of sorts. Keep in mind the Saints are doing this without Jaden Nielsen-Skinner and Tyke Thompson. 2 starters not dressed tonight, unavailable for this game. Reed handles the tough pass. Kicks back for Hafner. He'll trigger for 3 again. That one misses everything, but Reed tracks it down, but he steps on the baseline. Paul Rush pretty much sending, well, he sends 4 fresh bodies to the floor here out of that last timeout. Only Kobe Terashima from the starting lineup on the floor. He handles here, defers to his right. Now they reverse it back and set up Tinclay for the 3. It bounds off. Schumacher covers up. And here come the Saints again. They walk it across the timeline. Greeley. They look for Reed down low. Tough entry pass, corralled. Tries to kick it out, but it's deflected and taken down by Terashima. Back comes Northwest Nazarene. Tinclay will try for 3 again. Nails it. And a foul away from the ball is called on Marky Adams. So it will be Saints possession. Count the 3 for Tinclay. No, it won't be Saints possession. They're saying that it will stay with Northwest Nazarene. Now, that's interesting. I thought that based on the shot being made, it would have just gone right back, but the Saints steal it away. Kyle Greeley gets a hand on it, deflects it into the hands of Schumacher. Reed back to Schumacher. Thinks about a 3. Now waits for Reed to set the screen. Now he will pull up for 3. Steps to his left and crushes it. Alex Schumacher continues to play out of his mind. He's yet to miss a shot. Give him 17 on the night, and we're back to a 22-point lead. Northwest Nazarene was starting to make some noise, but back comes Alex Schumacher. Agosto steps back after the nice little shimmy shake. That no good. Another rebound for Reed. He's in double digits on the glass, but he throws it away. Schumacher can't track it down. That turnover gives it back to the Nighthawks. Still, though, they've got a mountain to climb. Head coach Paul Rush is furious. He is screaming at his team on the floor. I can hear it through the headset. That's rare. I can almost never hear anything through this thing. I heard every word. Agosto looks inside. Gets it back from Fox. Rolls off the screen. They kick it back for Terashima. He drives. Looking into the corner for Tinclay. Fires for 3 again, and that's back-to-back 3s for Tinclay. So Tinclay draws them back within 19. And now Schumacher commits the foul. Basically tackling Julian Agosto out near the timeline. Well, signs of life anyway for the Nighthawks. That's important. They want a puncher's chance of fighting their way back into this thing. Roy Wang wanders back onto the floor, adjusting his trousers as Marky Adams takes a seat. Here's Andrew Farron. Hands it off for Terashima. Kicks it back outside for Agosto. They work it around on the perimeter. Here's Tinclay for 3 again. Heat check will not go. That one bounced off badly. But Kobe Terashima picks off the pass. No look pass for Agosto, lays it in. And Aaron Landon wants a quick timeout. As Northwest Nazarene roars back to life. Still, it's a 17-point lead for the Saints with exactly 16 minutes to play. 53-36 our score. If you're just now joining us, the Saints have not trailed in this game. Northwest Nazarene has fought their way back after giving up the game's first 8 points. They trailed early 12-2 as well, got back into things, have cut the St. Martin's lead to 3, but in the last 3 minutes of the first half, holy smokes, do we have some high-flying action to close out the game's first 20 minutes. Couple of turnovers as we rejoin the action. Schumacher moves to his left, has it ripped away cleanly by Julian Agosto. Schumacher a little frustrated. That's his second here. Both of them committed in the last few moments of the second half. And the team's third. So the reserves for Northwest Nazarene stay on the floor. Paul Rush just not satisfied at all with the performance that he got out of his starters to start this second half. Terashima remains the only starter on the floor after he pulled his other 4 starters off the deck less than a minute into the half. Working hard down low. Farron can't get his first or second putback to go, and then commits the loose ball foul beneath the Nighthawks basket. Well, you can't fault the guy for trying. That was good effort. A lot of activity down there. Did not result in points. Did result in a foul, and the Nighthawks will pick up pressure in backcourt. Schumacher races the left side. In front of the scorer's table, picks up his dribble, has it taken away nearly by Agosto again. Kicks it back outside for Hafner. No look pass sets up Greeley. No look pass for Schumacher down low. He's quickly cut off. Now Reed spins toward the basket. Shot rejected. Farron takes it out of the sky. Greeley onto the deck. Passes to Schumacher. And what is the call here? I believe we've got a foul whistled against Northwest Nazarene. Well, sort this out here. Not quite sure what the call is. They have not reset the shot clock. I don't know what the call was. Referees are going to get together and talk things over. And actually, they're going to head over to the scores table, take a look at something on the monitor. So, officials timeout on the floor, 15:08 to play. Saints continue to lead by a sizable margin, but Northwest Nazarene not going anywhere. Well, we're back inside Marcus Pavilion, and it looks like a foul may have been called on the Nighthawks' Kobe Terashima, as the shot clock has been reset to 20 seconds. It's kind of a wild fracas in front of the Saints bench a moment ago. Sent a couple of guys spilling to the floor. Schumacher to trigger the inbounds, finds Greeley. Goes to work on Terashima, backs into his chest, now falls away from 17 feet and drains it. Kyle Greeley's mid-range game is absolutely unguardable. Dude has been lighting it up from between 15 and 20 feet for the last 7 games. It just continues. Farron at the other end. His 3 misses everything. Terashima, though, for the offensive rebound. Spins off Schumacher, and the putback good for Farron as he taps it home. Kyle Greeley just continues to shoot the lights out. Give him 14 on 5 of 8. Shooting from the floor. Wang crosses over on Tenclay. Hafner comes to get it. Reed and Farron, a lot of contact. Reed angles to his left. Back outside for Greeley. Thinks about a shot now, instead kicks to his left for Wang. 5 on the shot clock, Saints got to go. Wang will pull up for 3. A little bit too strong, several dudes after it. Terashima tracks it down. Double team there, a behind the back pass to Terashima. Frees the Nighthawks. And here comes Fox. Kicks back outside for Agosto. He'll try for 3. And that's off the back iron. Tap back up. But pulled down by Wang, and another loose ball foul whistled against Farron beneath the Northwest Nazarene basket. That's 2 on him from the same spot on the floor. And now Paul Rush will release his starters back to the floor. Gabe Murphy, George Reedy, and James Nelson all make their way back onto the court. Terashima gets a much-needed breather, as does Farron, after committing his second foul in about the last minute and a half. Nighthawks will pick up pressure in backcourt. Really finds Hafner off the inbound. Across to Wang. He can handle the ball. Got good length. Bumped by Reedy in backcourt. Saints are going to have to hurry to get it across. They barely do. Over to Hafner. 3 on the way. Bit too strong. Adams, the strong offensive rebound. Greeley sets up Schumacher. He drives. Back outside, it's Hafner. Kicks to the corner for Wang. Pump fake. Steps back. 3 on its way again. No good. Nelson the rebound for the Nighthawks. Agosto the other way. Angles into the paint. Drops it off for Murphy. Spins into a double team. Picks up his dribble. Leaves it for Agosto. Gets it back. Double clutches. Lays it in. 15-point game. Saints have led by as many as 22 here in the second half. They break pressure easily. And Schumacher will settle things down. Bounces the pass to Adams. Has good position. Gets tangled up with Murphy. No call. Murphy was all over that right arm of Marky Adams. But the officials say play on. We do that. Now Nelson up top. Back to Gabe Murphy. Agosto sets his feet. Steps into a 3 and drains it. It's down to a 12-point game. Wang ahead to Schumacher. Spins around Nelson. Hafner from the corner. Got it. Corner 3 from Christian Hafner. And that will stem the tide. And Alex Schumacher appears to be a little bit shaken up. He might have to take his first rest of this contest, and he will. So Schumacher sits down. He's got to be a little bit road weary at this point. But how about that 3 from Hafner? Pushes the lead back to 15. True Allen. They work it around the Saints zone defense. Into the high post, it's Reedy. He backs things out between the circles. Flips a pass to his left to Allen. Over his shoulder, back to Reedy in the corner. Now he rolls to the basket. Adams partially bothers that shot. May have gotten a piece. Now it's Gabe Murphy down low. High arcer from 2 feet out. Won't go. And the rebound gobbled up by Kyle Greeley. He'll steer it the other way. Guarded by Fox. After looking inside for Adams, has some space. Tangled up by Nelson, and Nelson commits the foul. That will bring us to another stoppage in play. The Saints continue to lead the game. The advantage now sits at 15 at 58-43 with 11:35 to play. (58-43) our score with 11:35 to play. The GNAC releasing its all academic teams a little bit earlier this week. How about the names jumping out at you here from either of these teams? Congratulations for St. Martin's to Josh Camper, Alex Clinton, Marcus Linkert, John Moore, and Tyke Thompson. Clinton, Linker, and Moore, all two-time selections to the GNAC All-Academic Team. For Northwest Nazarene, Jaden Carter, Gabe Murphy, George Reedy, Brody Steinhardt, Tim Kinkley, and Kobe Terashima. George Reedy, also a two-time selection to the GNAC All-Academic Team. Congratulations, gentlemen, on having such gigantic brains. A near turnover for the Saints. Wang with the shot clock winding down, fires up a shot. It's going to miss everything, and that'll be a shot clock violation against St. Martin's. And in fact, a foul. No. Looked for a moment like there might have been a loose ball foul whistled against St. Martin's. Referee was pointing the other way. I thought for a second he might have called a foul on Brett Reed beneath the basket. We play on. Nearing the 11-minute mark, the Saints continue to lead. It's 58-43. Reedy backs it out, sets his feet, kicks to his left. They reverse it back onto the perimeter for Jalen Fox. Now Reedy starts his drive, hesitates, spins toward Adams, gets caught. Kicks back outside for True Allen with 5 on the shot clock. Steps around, now fires from 18, falling away, no good. Boy, bang. Rebound sort of fell into his lap. He'll steer it the other direction for St. Martin's. Now Greeley here on the near side. Reedy right in his pocket. Pulls around the Reed screen. Keeps his head up, keeps his dribble. Falls away from 7 feet, and Kyle Greeley continues to be an absolute madman from the field for the Saints. Oh my goodness, that was a pretty good looking block from Goy Wang. He's not protesting too much, so he must have gotten some kind of a piece of Jalen Fox as he raised from about 12 feet. About Kyle Greeley. So we talked about Kyle Greeley, featured him in the pregame show. Dude had been shooting 66% from the floor across his last half a dozen games. That number made all the more impressive because he feasts in the mid-range. Most of those shots connected from well outside 12 feet and beyond. 66% is a great number for a post player who goes about his work down low on the blocks. Guys like Marky Adams and Brett Reed, who rarely venture outside the paint to attempt a shot. But Greeley doing it largely outside the paint. And tonight he's 6 for 9, so continuing that red-hot shooting streak, with most of those shots coming well away from the basket. Northwest Nazarene forces another turnover. In transition, it's Reedy. He's way in deep beneath the basket. Adams pushes him off the spot. Reedy works around, but Adams rejects the shot, swats it out of bounds. And Kyle Greeley needs a little help back to his feet. He's no worse for the wear. Looks like he's all right. Looks like he may have taken a little bit of a shot to the mouth. He's right back up and at it. Quick inbound to Allen in front of the Nighthawks bench. Dribbles into traffic, kicks back outside. Now Reedy will try for 3. Looks off, and it is by a mile. That one barely grazed iron, fell right into the hands of Marky Adams, who didn't have to move. But look at the strip away by Julian Agosto. Takes it right away. Boy, he's pesky. He has been a huge nuisance here in the second half. That's his 3rd steal, I believe, just of the second half alone. Now Greeley gets around Reedy, but Reedy bodies him up. Does not like the call, but that's his 4th. That is the 4th foul at the 9:23 mark on the Nighthawks' 2nd leading scorer coming into tonight's contest. So he will step back off of the floor, as will their leading scorer, James Nelson. Christian Rose and Tim Tenclay replacing them on the floor. Hafner inbounds, finds Greeley. Sure hope Alex Schumacher's okay. He hasn't come out since appearing to be shaken up a few moments ago. He'd played nearly every minute to that point. Adams kicks back outside. Now Hafner gets into the paint. A little pump fake to shake the defender and leans in from 13 feet and bangs it home. Christian Hafner, who does most of his damage from beyond the arc, with a nice little runner. And a lead back to 16 for the Saints, under 9 to play now here in the second. Rose, a couple of dribbles to his right. Gets it back now. Allen comes to get it. 10 on the shot clock for the Nighthawks. Tenclay will raise for 3. Why not? Yep, got it. Boom. Just like that, Tim Tinckley, his third three of the second half. Came in averaging just 4.5 points per contest. But give him 9, a team-high 9 points off the bench. He has been a huge factor for this Nighthawks team here in the second frame. As True Allen nearly forces a turnover. That deflected pass bounds harmlessly out of bounds up and over the scorer's table. As Marcus Linker makes his way back to the floor for St. Martin. So the 5 on the deck for the Saints. Hafner, Wang, Greeley, Linker, and Reed. Haven't seen Champ Spencer here in the second half. Greeley to the rack, lays it up and in. What a beautiful set play out of bounds. Greeley had retreated all the way back across midcourt. The inbound came to Reed. That's when he hit the gas, just accelerated right into the rack. Caught the pass in stride, gets to the rim, and lays it in. 15-point lead for the Saints. 8 minutes to play now. Christian Rose, a couple of bounces to his left, now hands it off to Terashima, gets into the paint, whips the pass back outside for Rose. Tries his luck toward the baseline, he's cut off. Kicks back outside for Tinckley. Knocked to the floor. No call, or is there? What have we here? Just immediate timeout is all. So there was contact. Might have been once Tinckley was actually back on the floor. He pleads his case, as does head coach Paul Rush, but it's no use. Doubt they're going to change their minds because they never do. 7:50 to play, and the Saints still lead it by 15. So Kyle Greeley with a team-high 18 points. He's fresh off a night in which he led the Saints in scoring as well. 24 points on 9 of 13 shooting from the floor against Western Washington up in Bellingham last Saturday. Cannot say enough about this dude. Had a good long talk with head coach Aaron Landon earlier this afternoon. We talked about Kyle Greeley for about 10 minutes and just how good he's been down the stretch for this team. One of 2 transfers from Portland State University. A couple of former Vikings now calling Lacey Washington home. Him and Jaden Nielsen-Skinner both transferring to St. Martin's from Portland State. Greeley handles here, crosses the timeline before deferring to Wang. 15 on the shot clock as Wang angles to his left. Maintains his dribble, bounces a pass to Hafner. Terashima all over him. Linker comes to get it. Offensive foul whistled against Marcus Linker. He definitely came in and hooked Tinckley there. That one was plain as day. Good call by the referees. Credit where credit is due. And Tinckley, for his efforts, will step off the floor as Reedy comes back on, but he's got 4 fouls. Keep that in mind. Nelson also back out there for Northwest Nazarene. Saints have done a really good job defensively on both of those 2 dudes here tonight. They're really struggling against both of them over in Nampa 9 days ago. Now Terashima on the drive. Gets stuck. Nearly caught in midair. Able to feather a pass back outside for Nelson. Gets it back. 6 on the shot clock. Starts his move to his left. Spins to his right. Pump fake one way. Goes the other. Shot no good. Rebound. Murphy lays it up and in. .13 advantage. St. Martin's under 7 to play. Now Greeley shakes Reedy. They reintroduce themselves. Now Wang from outside misses everything. And the weak side rebound corralled by Murphy. Terashima on the run out. He's stuck in midair, but the Saints bail him out beneath the basket. Terashima had absolutely nowhere to go, but the Saints foul him. And that is the 6th foul on St. Martin. So both of these teams now in the bonus, 6 fouls apiece. Schumacher back on the floor for the Saints. That's a very good sign. He looked fairly dinged up when he went to the bench a few minutes ago. Hugely encouraging sign to have him back on the floor as Reed and Greeley get well-deserved breaks. Adams and Schumacher back on the deck. Murphy, nowhere to go. Now Agosto gets it back from Reedy. Drifts to his right, picks up his dribble. Terashima bounces a pass inside for Murphy. Adams just a little bit too late on the block, and now it's an 11-point game. Remember, the women's team for St. Martin's led for the first 38 minutes of the contest tonight, and then lost the game in its final 2 minutes. Schumacher at the other end with bad intentions. Schumacher still has not missed a shot in this game. He's 6 for 6 from the floor, 5 of 5 at the line. And that just a huge bucket. When you consider the context of this game and the way things have gone over the last couple of minutes as Northwest Nazarene has fought their way back into it. Man, oh man, Alex Schumacher. What a competitor. What a dude he is. Man, oh man. Does this squad have dudes or what? My goodness. Makes the free throw, remains perfect on the night. 6 of 6 from the floor, 6 of 6 at the line. Made his only three-point attempt, give him 20 points on the contest. Agosto. He's hung up in midair, but draws some contact, and he'll head to the line. So just to reiterate, St. Martin's women's team had a 12-point lead going to the fourth quarter against Northwest Nazarene, but the Nighthawks on a 31-11 run wind up winning that game. Did not have a lead until there was about 2.5 minutes to play, and then just ran away from it in the game's closing moments with an 8-point victory. They turned a 12-point deficit at the outset of the fourth quarter into an 8-point road win. Huge, huge win tonight for the Nighthawks women's program against St. Martin's. Back here, the Saints have led wire to wire as well for 34.5 minutes. Northwest Nazarene, though, hanging around. Plenty of time for them to get back into this thing. They trail by 13. Good defense here. Schumacher able to get it over to Reed. Tries to dump it off inside for Adams, but last touch by Reed out of bounds. Protest to no avail, and another opportunity for Northwest Nazarene. Well, the same thing happened to the Saints men's team a couple of weeks ago up at Simon Fraser as well. Saints led that game by as many as 22 points as well. Had a 37-15 lead in the first half. 15-point lead at the break in that one, just like they did tonight. Wound up losing that game in the game's final 20 seconds. And now look at this. Agosto knocks home the shot, and it's down to 11. Under 5 to play. Kyle Greeley waits at the scorer's table. Wang looks inside, now backs everything out. Near the timeline, crosses right to left. Drifts down the left side of the paint. Back outside for Hafner. Tries to work himself free. Nowhere to go. Tries to leave it for Schumacher. It's taken away by Nelson. On the run out, Nelson into the lane. Kicks outside, but commits an offensive foul. Yes, he does. Wasn't sure quite which direction we were going. I was a little bit premature on that call. I anticipating the offensive foul to be called, and it was. Phew! Oh, that was a huge break for the Saints. Agosto was wide open in the corner. Accepted the pass and was looking to line up a three. Instead, the offensive foul on Nelson, his second. Remember, both of these teams in the bonus for the rest of this game. Schumacher bodied by Reedy, and he's gone. That's it. 5 fouls on George Reedy. He's done. 4:11 to play, and Northwest Nazarene will be without their second leading scorer on the season for the rest of this one. He is DQ'd, my friends, disqualified. And Schumacher will head to the line for a 1-1.
At the line for a 1-1 is 0 Schumacher. Number 10, Tristan Rose.
So Rose replaces Reedy on the deck for Northwest Nazarene. Front end of a 1-1 for Alex Schumacher. Dips at the knees, shot on the way, it's good. Still hasn't missed a shot in this game. I'm so wary of that stupid thing they call the broadcaster's jinx. It's the dumbest thing in the universe because it doesn't really exist. We all know it. Schumacher remains perfect, 6 of 6 at the line, 8 of 8. 6 of 6 from the field, 8 of 8 at the line, and 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. 22 points for Alex Schumacher. Terashima kicks to Allen. Lots of time coming off the clock. It's becoming a factor. Into the corner, a 3 on the way, and it's good. James Nelson with just enough space to get off a clean look at that corner 3, and he buries it. Down to a 10-point lead for the Saints. 3:40 to play. Saints playing without Nielsen Skinner and Tyke Thompson tonight. Brett Reed in the high post. Faces up on the defender. Drops it off for Adams. Raises for 2 hands and punches it home. Set up by his fellow big man Brett Reed. Marky Adams with the 2-handed finish. At the other end, another 3 for Nelson. So back-to-back 3s for the Nazarene squad. And it's down to single digits at 71-62. Just over 3 to play. Saints did not get back on D. Perhaps celebrating just a bit too much like me up here on that staggering, punishing 2-handed flush from Marky Adams. Now Hafner spins into a double team, leaves it for Greeley, steps back, 14-footer on the way. Last touch by Reed out of bounds. The shot clock would have expired anyway. And that'll bring us to a stoppage in play. The Saints continue to lead, but it's growing more and more tenuous here inside Marcus Pavilion. It's down to 9. Come right back for the final 2:47 between the Saints and the Nighthawks. (71-62) our score, 2:47 left in this thing. A couple of nights ago, make it 5 nights ago, up in Bellingham, it was Alex Schumacher and Kyle Greeley combining for what I believe was 41 points on that night. Greeley with 24, Schumacher with 17 to lead the way for the Saints in the absence of both Tyke Thompson and Jaden Nielsen Skinner. Guess what, folks? They're doing it all over again. They have combined for 40 here tonight. Alex Schumacher, 22. Kyle Greeley's got 18. Christian Hafner not far off the pace. He's got 14. Those are the only 3 guys in double figures for the Saints. We return to action. Into the high post, it's True Allen. Backs it out. Look at Marky Adams come out to get him. Fakes to his right now. He leaves it off. And Andrew Farron raises for the 2-handed pack. Now Hafner at the other end fires for 3. Bangs around for a moment. Reed the offensive rebound. No foul call, nearly a steal by Greeley, and here comes Agosto the other way. Gets to the rack, lays it up, won't go, but he's fouled. Oh my goodness, could it happen again? Could it happen again? Remember, the women's team lost by 8 points tonight after leading for the first 37 and a half minutes of tonight's game. The men's team has led by as many as 22. That lead down to 7 as Agosto steps to the line. Cannot connect on the first of 2 free throws. Julian Agosto has played his absolute tail off here in the second half, especially at the defensive end. He's been so persistently all over the floor. He's good on the second, and it's down to a 2-possession game. Schumacher in some trouble in the corner, and Agosto nearly forces another turnover. Had the ball at his feet, but couldn't keep it from rolling back across the baseline. 4 seconds come off the clock. The Saints will only have 6 seconds to get it across. Aaron Landon may have to burn a timeout here. We'll see how things go. Hafner ahead to Schumacher. Nelson able to avoid midair contact with Schumacher, but the ball now across the timeline. And Schu easily inbounds to Kyle Greeley. Rose comes out to get him. Greeley dribbles to his left, now backs out back toward the timeline. Kind of a shoes to screen from Brett Reed. Now Hafner looking for Adams down low. He's fouled over the top by Andrew Farron, and it looks like that was by design. They wanted to send Marky Adams to the line. Paul Rush was asking Farron to foul, and that's his third, but the 10th now on Northwest Nazarene. And the first free throw bounds off. But it is the double bonus, so Adams has another. Saints with 8. Fouls here in the second frame as Jalen Fox makes his way back onto the floor for the Nighthawks. Adams rattles home the second free throw. 3-possession game once again as it's a 7-point lead for the Saints. 1:55 to play. Wang back on the floor for the Saints. So the 5 on the floor. Hafner, Reed, Greeley, Wang, and Schumacher. Couple of subs onto the deck for Northwest Nazarene as well. Tinclay comes off. Murphy back on. And Terashima finally snatches the inbounds out near the timeline. They're looking for Nelson. Now it's Terashima. Over to True Allen in front of his own bench, guarded by Wang. Rolls to the rack, lays up a shot. No good. Reed, the only player around, but hits the basket. Now Greeley with it. Flips a pass up over the top for Christian Hafner. Now Schumacher out near the timeline. Schumacher fouled from behind. He'll go to the line. Oh, they wanted to foul Brett Reed there. Reed had a touch for a moment. They raced over to try to foul him, but he got rid of the ball quickly. And now Schumacher at the line for St. Martin's. 1:29 remains. Number 2 versus number 3 in the GNAC points rating system standings. And Alex Schumacher finally misses a shot tonight. His first miss from any spot on the floor. Still 8 of 9, and he's 85% on the season. I like his chances here on shot number 2. He's only human after all. Off the second one looks short, and it is. So Alex Schumacher unable to connect on either free throw, and it remains a 7-point game. Still 3 possessions, but that certainly tightens things up between these two squads. Splitting the defense. Wild shot will fall. True Allen just making magic. How in the world did he get that to go? Did not seem to have any sort of angle to get that shot off, let alone make it. Yet somehow able to muscle it up and in, and it's a 5-point game with $1:13 to play. This is a second timeout, so we'll keep it here. So you can only anticipate that Northwest Nazarene will continue to show that largely relentless pressure that they have been putting on for basically the entire balance of the second half. Very interesting to see who comes back onto the floor for St. Martin's out of this timeout. Reed remains on the floor. In fact, it's the same five that were out there before the timeout. Schumacher, Greeley, Reed, Wang, and it'll be Hafner to trigger the inbound. Remember, they don't have a true point guard available tonight, do the Saints. And the shot clock did not start. So a quick little administrative timeout here while we sort everything out. In fact, maybe neither clock started. Well, the referee is going to take a look at it and see where the clock should be. This could take a moment. We'll step away here for just a second. So we're back inside Marcus Pavilion, a $1:09 showing on the game clock, 26 seconds on the shot clock for the Saints. They've got 6 seconds to get it across the timeline. Not sure how many timeouts the Saints have left. We don't have those numbers up on the scoreboard, nor do I have them on our live stats. Nearly a 5-second inbounds violation. Wang able to corral the pass. He's fouled. Crossing the timeline by True Allen. That'll send Goy Wang to the free throw line for St. Martin's. So I touched on this a moment ago. The Saints do not have a true point guard tonight. Jaden Nielsen-Skinner missing his 3rd consecutive game. He's in street clothes tonight, like the rest of us. Just an observer. And Wang at the line for the Saints. It's a 5-point game. The first of 2 free throws bangs off the side of the rim. So the Saints have missed 3 consecutive free throws as Marky Adams comes back onto the floor, replacing Christian Hafner. So the Saints not doing themselves any favors at all from the free throw line here in the game's closing moments. Schumacher missed a pair a few moments ago after not missing a single shot for the first 38.5 minutes of the game. Now Wang's second free throw is good. So he extends the lead to 6. They quickly get it inbounds, do the Nighthawks. Terashima clears the timeline, hands it off for Tinkley. He's buried 3 threes here in the second half alone. Agosto on the drive. He's fouled by Wang. Not looking to shoot, so it's a 1-and-1. As Hafner will come back onto the floor, replacing Marky Adams. This should be a 1-and-1. Let's double check with the referee, but Agosto clearly not in the act of shooting on that one. Yep, 1-and-1 it is. So the front end on its way, it's good. So he earns the bonus and can draw the Nighthawks within 4. 51.8 seconds left. Northwest Nazarene has come all the way back. They trailed by as many as 22. They've come nearly all the way back. They have shaved 18 points off a 22-point deficit. Now Wang finds Kyle Greeley, streaking to the rim, lays it up and in. The Saints break pressure perfectly off the second made free throw. 6-point game again, 40 seconds to play. A long 3 from Agosto. Good! Cuts the lead in half. Down to a 1-possession game, 75-72. Agosto with a foot on the Twin Star logo in front of the Nighthawks bench. and we are down to a one-possession game. Oh my goodness, we've had one wild finish already in the GNAC tonight. The folks sitting right in front of me, nice enough to let me watch the replay of a shot Western Washington hit from about 40 feet out, just like Goi Wang's shot that ended the first half. Well, Western Washington teed up a similar shot, except theirs won the game at regulation. Western Washington had gotten absolutely housed by Montana State Billings just 2 nights ago, 91-64. They bounced back and defeat the Yellow Jackets tonight. The same team that ran them off the floor by 27 just 2 nights ago. Western Washington throws a wild 3 as time expires, knocks it home. Game was tied. It was on its way to overtime if he doesn't make that shot. But prayers answered for the folks in Bellingham and for the greater Western Washington Vikings basketball community. That was our first wild finish, and are we in store for yet another one here in Marcus Pavilion? The Saints led by 22 in the opening moments of the second half. It is down to a 3-point lead. Remember, they led by 22 points against Simon Fraser up in Burnaby about 2 weeks ago. And Simon Fraser claimed their first lead with under 20 seconds in that game and held on to win. Will history repeat itself again for St. Martin's? Inbound comes to Schumacher. They turn it over. Rose kicks to the corner. Terashima drives, kicks back outside. Tinclay for 3. Got it. Tie game. Careless turnover for the Saints, and it cost them. We're all tied up. Shot clock off for the final 24, and we are all tied up. 20 seconds to play. Schumacher. Reed comes out to set the screen, now backs off. Schumacher holds. He'll probably start his move with 8. 8 seconds on the clock. 7, here we go. Schumacher cuts to his left. Hands it off for Greeley. 3 on the way. Good! Kyle Greeley bangs a 3 with less than a second to play. And that'll do it. Kyle Greeley wins the game for the Saints. 78-75. Absolute bedlam. Bedlam! Bedlam inside Marcus Pavilion. Kyle Greeley is a bad, bad man. Kyle Greeley wins it for the Saints with just under a second to play. Moments after Northwest Nazarene had tied the game. Our first tie since 0-0. The Saints had led the game start to finish. All of a sudden, Tim Tinclay hits his 4th 3 of the second half. Came in averaging just over 4 points a game, hit 4 threes in the second half alone. Tied the game with 27 seconds left. The Saints just waited it out. Schumacher started his move with 7 seconds on the clock. Slips a pass to Kyle Greeley. Basically a straight-on 3 from beyond the top of the key. Buries it and wins the game for St. Martin's. What a finish inside Marcus Pavilion. Oh my goodness. I am shaking. I'm physically shaking. What a finish. 78-75, our final score. Number 3 in the GNAP takes down number 2 here in Lacey tonight. Fans, don't go anywhere. We're going to hear from Saints head coach Aaron Landon in just a few moments. The St. Martin's men's basketball postgame show is coming up on the other side of this break. Well, welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion for the St. Martin's men's basketball postgame show. I'm still just humming, physically vibrating from the finish to that game, and we are joined by Saints head coach Aaron Landon. I don't even know quite what to say just now, Coach, but how about this? Let's just talk through those last, call it 30 seconds of that game. Bad turnover in their end. Tinclay hits that three, kind of an unheralded, unheard of player basically for this team. Hits the three, ties the game, but you elect not to call the timeout, decide to just let it play out. Talk us through those last 30 seconds.
Well, Tinclay hits that shot, and it would be inappropriate to call it the Tim Tinclay fan club. That's more like a separate community. They're out in full effect, just living the dream. We throw the ball away. Gets that shot, and it just feels like it's that fairy tale night. Here's how basketball works. We call fist, which that's a play. We want Brett Reed at the rim, and we want Goy Wang setting a screen up top. And of course, we end up with Brett Reed at the top. I don't even remember where Goy was. They crowd shoe like they should, and we're in trouble, and that game's headed to overtime. And if I'm telling the story to my girls when they wake up tomorrow morning, I'll say it was a 40-foot shot, but that was a deep shot, right?
Goy's shot was pretty close to 40.
Yeah, but Kyle's shot. Yeah. What are we looking at?
25.
25 feet. So then you just have a really, really good player just bailing us out, and a lot of that pressure and stuff. A lot of that gets resolved if we have Skinny. Because he's so good with the ball and handling pressure, but that's not a solution for us. We got to get him healthy. His health comes first, and so right now we got to be better at coaching and figuring out some pressure releases for our players. And that's a game where in the final 3 minutes, all you're doing is just wanting the night to be over. Momentum's on their side, and we had thrown some haymakers in the first half.
Yep. And right out of the chute in the second half as well.
But their aggression, they really figured out sort of what they wanted to do. Look, these are the North Thurston guys. This is Tinclay's crowd right here. I told Wesley Reynolds, I said, Wes, we got to win this game so that Tim Tinclay is still the second best player out of North Thurston High School at the end of the night. But he was a monster tonight, so credit him. He's the guy that doesn't play a ton of minutes, but he knows his role. He's great with it, and he really punished us tonight. So a lot of work ahead for us.
Well, funny thing about that shot that Greeley hits, because that's the one that everyone's obviously going to be talking about for a very long time. But what should not get lost in all of this is the rest of the body of work that he turned in throughout this night. When you and I talked earlier this afternoon, that's all I wanted to talk about was Kyle Greeley. And we spent a good 5, maybe 10 minutes alone just talking about how good, how important, how special he is to this program. Well, tonight he did it again. Remember, he came in tonight averaging 66% across his last 6 games, even though he doesn't take a ton of shots inside the paint tonight. Right at that number again, 8 for 12 from the floor. Winds up with 21 points on the heels of that 24-point performance you got out of him up in Bellingham on Saturday night. How special is this dude, your Portland State transfer, Kyle Greeley?
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, I started sounding like a coach would, just, overusing the word culture and this and that. But as good as he is at basketball, and he's one of the most efficient players in the country right now, and, as good of a shooter as he is, he has been just the exact guy you need, never too high, never too low. Shows up to work, whether he's healthy or whether he's not healthy. He practices hard, he works hard, and he just comes in and he wants to learn. So it's just awesome. He's a talented player. That's why he hit that shot. But just really happy that he could have a moment like that because he's sacrificed a lot. He doesn't, we talked earlier about, he needs to just add a little bit of weight this offseason. He's got a super bright future, but he throws his body around. He was really banged up all week. So it was great for him. I do want to give a ton of credit. When I go in there, I'll talk about what us coaches can do better to help with the pressure that we saw in the second half. But the big thing I'm going to talk about with them is, Gabe Murphy finished with 5 rebounds tonight. They killed us the first time on the glass. I think they had 16 offensive rebounds last time. We threw the ball away a lot tonight. But we did a great job on the glass. And they did it. They out-rebounded us by 1 on the offensive glass. But that's the best offensive rebounding team in the GNAC. So for us to fight and hold them to 12 offensive rebounds that's really the number, you need to hold any team to is 12 or under. And I just thought that we were awesome. Brett was a monster on the glass tonight with 13 rebounds. And, yeah, I mean, just a super unselfish player. Markey, even though he doesn't get a ton of rebounds, he gets 4 offensive rebounds, only 1 on D, but he absorbs so much attention. He impacted the glass. Schumacher getting in there, Greeley getting in there, and then, Goya, Marcus, everybody chipping in on the glass. It's really special for me that we out-rebound that team because that was the conversation that we were having all week long was, that's what we need to do. We need to get tougher. We got great shooting. We just have to get tougher.
Well, I know a big part of your scout, like you mentioned, you already talked about this, was keeping a guy like Gabe Murphy, who's just so active on the glass, away from rebounds on both the offensive and defensive end of the floor. But the other big part of your scout, of course, was doing your absolute darndest to shut down 2 dudes named George Reedy and James Nelson. Well, Nelson finished with a decent night, 13 points, 5 of 8 shooting, but he had just 2 rebounds, came in tonight averaging close to 9 per game. How about the job you did on George Reedy? Probably the most frustrated he's ever been, perhaps in his entire collegiate career. Finishes with 2 points, 1 of 9 from the floor, fouled out with just over 4 minutes left. You completely zeroed him out tonight. He was an absolute non-factor. Talk about the defense you threw at him.
I mean, we guarded him and Nelson as our primaries.
Sure.
And, Nelson's better shooting the ball than Reedy, but Reedy's he's such an interesting player when you watch him on film. We did a bunch of this today. He's a right-handed guy, but he loves the spin back to his left. He loves to pivot to his left, and it's almost like he loves finishing with his left more than his right, but he's right-handed. So he's a really unique player. He's hard to guard because you just don't see guys like that. He's just a really unique player. He's really good. I thought we did a great job on James Nelson. I know he finishes with 13, but he's got 7 points until he hits that corner 3,
yep.
And then just momentum on their side. They're hitting shots. He gets that deep one at the top of the key at the end of the night. Yeah, I thought we did a really good job on both. And, that game, I thought that Augusto, who came off the bench, really impacted the game and did a great job just pressuring us and taking us out of our stuff. And then Tenclay kept them in the ball game. There was, not to take anything away from the other guys, but if Tenclay's not hitting those threes, we're able to sort of separate in the second half.
I think it's important that we also, real quick, one last question about this game tonight. Alex Schumacher was another guy that you specifically singled him out, too, when we talked earlier. You said, I expect Alex to have a very big night tonight. Alex Schumacher comes in, winds up with 22 points. He was perfect from all spots on the floor until he missed those last 2 free throws. But through the first 38 minutes of this game, he didn't miss a shot. How about that performance that you got out of that dude this evening?
Yeah, I mean, we talked earlier, and I just said he's going to have to really take on the point guard role for a little while here. And we met in the office today. He ends up with the turnovers, and honestly, I thought that they were, letting 11 get really handsy with him in the second half. But, yeah, I mean, he turned it over a bit, but he got the 6 assists, so he made some good passes and just kept his reads simple. And he took good shots. He didn't take any bad shots. We always tell him, please, just stay within the shots that we want you to take. And then he's really good at making bad shots and tough shots, and that's exactly why we give it to him at the end of possessions. And when the shot clock's winding down, he can do that too. So just thought his shot selection was great. Thought he got other guys involved, made good passes, and got sped up a little bit. But it's crazy. He's only a sophomore, and he's going to get better. And, we got to do some things to kind of help him out with our spacing, and we'll be ready to go for Central. Yeah. They'll play very similar in terms of getting up the line and trying to take stuff away. So just really proud of our guys tonight. Everybody fought, and Kyle's going to be the celebrity here because of the shot that he hit. But man, it's so hard to play NNU. Like Gabe Murphy, Nelson, Reedy, those are grown men. They're so physical. And Terashima, who doesn't do a ton of scoring, he's just such a tough competitor. Got a lot of respect for the way those guys play. So, they did a great job, and I'm really, really happy and lucky that we got the win.
Before you get out of here, I got to tell you, this is hilarious. By the way, you'll find out when you get back down to your office that this was not the only buzzer beater tonight that decided an outcome of a game this evening. Western Washington knocked off Montana State Billings on a 40-foot three. How about that? Montana State Billings.
Have cameras on us, so we can just hold this embrace. Hold the embrace.
Western Washington, after getting housed by Montana State Billings 2 nights ago. Comes back, beats Billings on their home floor on a prayer of a shot, further out than Goy's that capped the first half. I'm just letting you know that there were 2 buzzer beaters in the GNAC tonight. The first one took down Billings. How about that?
How about that? That's the GNAC right now. People are so crazy. People are talking about what seed they hope we get. When I'm seeing people in the hallway during the women's game, there is no good seed. Are you kidding me? You got Western Washington. They're looking at the play-in game, right? And then Billings is at the top of the conference, and that was on the road, right? And didn't Billings just absolutely took apart. Yeah. You look at that stuff, you look at those scores on paper, and you think that's maybe a back-breaking loss for Western. They have really good players. Yep. We shot lights out when we were up there, and it surprises me that it's on a 40-footer, but nothing surprises me in the GNAC. So that's great for us, and I love Mick Durham, and he's going to be just fine, but that's a good night for the Saints.
Yep. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and shut things down here, let you get down and celebrate this incredibly exhilarating win tonight. We certainly look forward to Central Washington on Saturday and senior night here. That game will, of course, tip off at 5:15. Coach, thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us for a few extra minutes here.
Of course.
Go enjoy
Nights
this
like
win.
This, you can talk all night and howl at the moon and do all that good stuff. It was great. Thanks to everybody for watching. If they're still listening, you guys are some loyal fans.
We'll go do all the howling at the moon as soon as we sign off here. That's head coach Aaron Landon stopping by after one of the greatest victories we've ever seen, perhaps, in Marcus Pavilion in a number of years. We'll let you folks go on ahead. If you want to review the stats, make your way on out to the website. Pour over all the numbers from tonight's game. Once again, St. Martin's knocking off Northwest Nazarene on a last-second 25-foot heave from Kyle Greeley to win it. 78-75, our final score. Our final broadcast here on the Saints Digital Network is coming up in just 2 days' time. Women's basketball will tip off against Central Washington at 3 p.m., so please be sure to join us for the pregame show starting at 2:45. The men's game will follow. 5:15 tip for that one, so a 5 o'clock pregame show for it as well. So on behalf of executive producer Sydney Henderson, and everyone else in the St. Martin's Athletic Department, this is Jeff Lucero signing off, fans. What a night it was here in Marcus Pavilion. We'll see you on Saturday afternoon for the final 2 home games in the regular season anyway for the Saints right here in Marcus Pavilion. Good night, everybody.